Alright guys, what is going on? The Teen Engineer here. And today we'll be continuing the series on Skywalk Towers. And I started here at the end of the cracking Oreos because I'd like to show you how I did this. These Oreo cakes moving up and down. And so, yeah, I'm just going to jump into it. So, literally, let's try and... Okay, let's go. I'm just going to do this really quick to show you guys how it's like. So you can see that the player isn't actually moving inside the Oreo. Like, it's moving, but he isn't like turning with it. He's just staying there. Well, it's like kind of like an elevator. Let's oof, I almost fell there. But let's try and finish this. Okay, I have to time it perfectly, guys. Okay, got it. Just go in, cool. Okay, I just got pushed. And I died. Cool. Let's start again. Okay. Let's jump into it. Cool. Okay, cool. Next. Nice. Easy peasy. Just timing. Next. Okay, no, I'm not gonna jump to that. Nope. Have to wait for that. Wait for the perfect moment. I believe it's gonna be here. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's good. Oh. I have to wait for it. It should be here. Perfect. Am I at the last one? No, I'm not. Before the last one right here, I could actually just jump on the Kit Kats. Can I don't even know if they're Kit Kats. I don't think so. But they're just okay. Cool. Okay. So yeah, let's show you guys how I did that. And you can see, I want to show you guys something that, yeah, you can't jump on top of it. There's an invisible part stopping you from jumping on top of it. So yeah, let's get right to it. I'm just gonna close this, and we're going to go into the editing. So yeah. Okay. And let's have a look at it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to run it actually, because I want to see if it's actually turning on the server as well. And we can see that it isn't. And the reason for that is that it's not in a server script, it's in a client script. And I didn't use any constraints for this. Now, I could have used a cylindrical constraint now that I think about it. Just like these lollipops here that are turning and moving. I could have used a cylindrical constraint, but I chose not to because I told myself that the player doesn't really need to like turn with it, and I can just use a script, a local script for that. So, let's see what this model is made of. So, let's see. There's some candles on top of it to make it a cake. And is there anything special in these candles? Oh, this is like, okay, cool. Doesn't seem to be anything special in these candles. These are some parts that I cut out, and you can see that it totally broke because I messed that up because they are not anchored. It seems like. I believe they're not anchored, are they? Let's see. Yeah, they're not anchored. So I messed that up, but it's fine. These will get better next time. Okay. So yeah, there's just these two doors here, and what else? Okay, this is just moving too fast. Okay, we have this invisible part on top of it so that the player can't just jump over it and just beat the system. You can't beat the system. There is the roof, and I just want to see something. Yeah, there are some sparks too. I made this particle emitter, and it's like this. It's kind of like a cake, you know. There's sparks on top of a cake. Okay, Yeah, there are some welds as well, because this thing is going to be moving and it's not anchored, and so we added some welds so that, you know, if something is not anchored and you want it to move together, you have to add welds. And these are just parts you can add, but not parts. They're constraints, and you just click on the plus, you click on a weld constraint, and you add the you add the two parts that you want to weld together. So yeah, let's take a look at the name. The name is Oreo Hole 2. So let's go look at the scripts that I made for it. Yeah, we can see the local scripts. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to stop this first of all. So I don't break the whole game. We can see that it went back to normal. And let's have a look at. I forgot what I called it. Oreo, what's it called? I don't even know. Let's see. Oreo Hole 1, yeah, okay. Should be this one. Okay, cool. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm always using run service for all of the things that I want to turn using scripts. I always use run service. Now, when I first started doing my game, I was not using run service, I was using wait. So I was just going like this, and this is not really good because it's always constant, and you really want to wait according to the player's frame speed. So if his speed diminishes, you want to, you know, wait a bit more so that it doesn't seem to be like glitching for him. And if his speed goes faster, then you want to wait even less. So cool. So we're just accessing the run service. We're accessing the model. So workspace wait for child, I call it Oreo Hole 1. You want to put whatever name you chose for yours. And we're accessing the union because the thing we're going to be turning is the union only. Now, it may seem like the whole thing is turning, but it's actually only the union, which I'm calling union just the doors, like the white part of it. This part. These are the only things that will be turning. They'll be turning like this, which is how I did it in the game. These other things don't need to be turning. They just need to be moving with it up and down. So yeah. So while true do, I could have also put while run service dot stepped. Ooh, I can't. Okay. Can't type. Wait, but it does the same thing. While true do. Okay. And I'm putting two for loops here. So two for loops. Why two for loops? Because I need a for loop to go up. I need a for loop to go up for the Oreo whole thing to go up. And I also need one to go back down. So we need two for loops. And I'm setting a variable for I equal 1. So I'm setting the variable I equal to 1. And I'm incrementing to 150. Now, you might be thinking in a for loop, there has to be a third argument, usually. But the thing is, like here it will be like this. But the thing is, if you want it to increment by 1, it's actually the default, so you can just remove it. But if you want to increment by 2, you have to put it. You have to put 2. But the default is 1, so I don't need to add it. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 150. And so what do I want to do is I'm taking the C-frame of the union, so the C-frame of like the doors. I'm equaling it to itself because we don't want to just, you know, glitch it. Like just equal it to itself, and you have to add something after. So I'm adding a certain position. So this C-frame.new is different than C-frame.angles. C-frame.angles is only for rotating. And C-frame.new is for moving. So I want to move it and I want to rotate it at the same time. And I just realized that actually I'm moving the whole thing. I thought that I was moving only the doors, but actually, now that I think about it, I have weld constraints. So the whole thing is moving with it, which is good, which is better, I think, actually. Okay. So we're taking its initial C frame and we're multiplying it by a certain y position, and this is 0.093 for 150 times. So if we do a little calculation, um, let's see how much is that. So 0.01, how much is it? 0.093 times 150. That's 13 and a half studs. So let's have a look at it. If we go up 13 and a half studs, so here 13.5, we can see this is the top position that's going to go, and it's going to go back down. Okay, so this is what it's doing. It's adding 0.093 at every weight for 150 times, because let's say you do this, let's say you do it 15 times, and to go to the same amount of distance, then you have to do, if you divide by 10 here, which is what we did, then you have to multiply by 10 here, and let's do that again, multiply by 10 here. Cool. Let's run this. You're gonna see that it's way laggier because there's a higher increment. It's going up less smoothly, I guess you could say, because it's going up higher increments. Let's see. It's going up almost one increment per weight, so it's going to be it's going to be faster. First of all, it's going to be faster, and then and it's also going to be less smooth. So let's see. So usually you'd want to put a higher amount of increment, and it doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I'm going to stop it and run it again. Right, I have to do that again. I'm going to actually disable the UI. Disable the UI for temporarily. Let's see. Loading enabled. Okay, cool. I disabled it. Let's play it here. You can see that it's still pretty smooth actually, but it's way faster, and that's kind of not what we want. And you can see that it does change speed, because I told you guys that it would change speed according to the frame rate, which is really what we want. You really want to use this. I strongly recommend it. So yeah, let's go back to the usual. So 150, 150, and I'm gonna go and change it back to slower. Okay, cool. So this is for changing the position. Now we want to change it in the y-axis only, because we want it going up and down. And also on top of that, we want to add a rotation, and so we have to multiply it by a certain c-frame.angles. And in what axis you want to rotate it, you can just check by clicking Control 4 and just trying it out, and you can see that here this is the green one, so the Y, and so that's the Y we want to use. So we can see I put it in the Y, the X and the Z stay the same. The Y is radiant radiant 1.5. That's just the direction. Well, 1.5 is the amount you want to rotate it by. Now these are radians, and you don't really need to know what that is, but just know that if you increment it, it's going to be faster, and if you decrement it, it's going to be slower. Yeah, and you could put a negative in front of it if you want it to turn the other way, but that's not what I want. So, I would just recommend experimenting with this value. If it's too fast, just make it slower, make it smaller number. But I think for me, it's honestly perfect. So yeah, so once it's done going 150 times, then we want to stop this for loop, right? It ends. And we want to start another for loop. And this one is going to be for going back down. And it's going to be basically the exact same thing, except one thing is going to change. And that is the orientation. So we want to take the C frame, we want to take the position and angle, same one, and we want to multiply it by a certain y position going back down. So instead of going back up for like if it's positive it goes up, we're gonna go back down, same amount, so it's the same number, but there's a negative sign in front of it, and also it's gonna rotate the same amount as well. So these are all the same except this negative sign, and that's basically it. It just does this infinitely, forever. So so yeah, and that's what I do for all of those Oreo cakes, I guess you could call them, and that's basically it. Um, Actually, for these ones, I believe, so Oreo Hold 2, I believe I'm going back down first, yeah, because it's already at the top. You can see it's already at the top of the pole, so it has to go back down first, and then it goes back up. So I'm just going to show you guys really quickly. Very cool. Oreo Hold 2. We can see that in the first for loop, the first one is going back down. It goes back down and then it goes back, and then it goes up. So yeah, so it's basically the opposite of the first one. So that's pretty much it for the Oreo cakes. If you like this video, then like it, subscribe, and you can play my game in the description or join my group. Let's try to get to 100 members. And yeah, if you'd like to support me, there's going to be a Kickstarter link in the description. Thank you. Bye.